Hello. Gooner coming back again. We're getting back into it, man. It's getting into the final stretch of the season. And previous video, we talked about how the title race is gonna go. I talked about how the way City will perform against Chelsea is gonna dictate how I feel about the title run. And Liverpool are coming up against Chelsea inside the Carabao Cup final this weekend. I also believe that's a taster game for us to understand like where Liverpool are at, right? Like I'm using Chelsea as kind of like a litmus test for these teams, right? We play Newcastle, Arsenal. I'm a Gooner, Gooner. If you didn't know, now you know. Please like and subscribe as I go dive into this week 25, right? As we go into week 25 and I break down what I saw. I'm not going to break down the games. I'm going to break down what I saw and what each result means. I need to start uploading more frequently, you get me? So that you can, get a little bit of the tactical side of it afterwards. But I'm going to talk about what this means for the Premier League at the moment. I got a lot of mumblings about this title race, whether it's going to be the most exciting title race we've had in a while. People are forgetting about when Liverpool and Man City went down to the final wire in this last game of the season. 1 point was the differential. Man City beat Liverpool to the title, beat Jurgen Klopp again, and then obviously when Liverpool won it was a crazy. Wasn't crazy in terms of the title race. It was crazy in the way that Liverpool just destroyed everyone and blitzed us. Haven't seen that in a while. But to my best of knowledge, I haven't seen 3 teams go down to the final day, and I don't think we're gonna see that. Right? Everyone's saying it's the most exciting title race because sometimes I feel like as football fans, we and Twitter keyboard warriors, we kind of forget what happened last year, you get me? I'm not gonna start talking about most exciting title race until the end of March, because I've said it previously, I'm gonna say it again. February is when we get our brackets, and the brackets have slowly started to form. Spurs lost again. I already said that horse stepped on a pothole, and now they're back on a donkey and they're behind us. United won again, a scrappy victory, but they won. Terrible performance. If I'm a Manchester United fan, I'm not happy about the performance, but I want those 3 points. As a neutral, I'm not happy because I have to watch that crap, you get me? I have to watch that garbage. I'm out here watching all these games and I'm watching Man United, and it's the worst. It is, that institution is disgusting. It's rotting from the inside, which is why at the moment they're removing all of the mold, all of the termites, and then just reforming it. But let me get back to what I was saying. So then you got Aston Villa, Man United, Spurs battling for that last top 4 spot. They are not in the title race. They're fighting for Champions League football. In the lower tiers, we have Chelsea, we have Newcastle, we have Brighton, we have those teams battling to get the remaining European positions, the positions that are just like Europa, Conference League, not as prestigious, but you want to be in those competitions so you can test your players. In Brighton's case, they want to test their players out in the market so people see their players and buy and overpay for them. For example, Caicedo. For example, what's that left back's name? The Spanish guy with the beautiful, luscious hair. Maybe it's Maybelline. What's his name? I can't remember what the man's name is. I can't remember his name, but you know who I'm talking about. Left back, plays for Chelsea, 60 million. City were after him as well. Beautiful, luscious hair. Maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe that's his new name. But basically, that's what Brighton do. They play De Serbi. When you hear him talk, he talks in these press conferences. You can hear it in his voice where he's he doesn't pick his 11 based on the fact that he thinks that team's gonna be the team to win. He picks it because he knows his system's good, and then the higher ups have told him, I want to sell this guy, I want to sell this guy, I want to sell that guy, in order for me to bring in these other guys so that I can sell them again, so that we can slowly work our way up. And the best way to do that is, one, play them week in, week out inside the Premier League, and two, for you to play them in Europe so people can see them and see them perform in a plethora of competitions, so the prices go high. That's why Caicedo was so expensive. I digress. So we have our 3 brackets that are formed. We have 3 teams inside the championship, inside the title race currently. I say currently because March is when I believe you're reaching the final stretch of that marathon, and then the lactic acid starts to come in, the desire starts to come in, and you start to see the teams that are, you start to see if someone's going to break through, or we're going to have a legitimate title race, a title challenge that extends. And then we have that last final Champions League spot being fought for by 3 teams, and then we have the other European spots that are gonna be spread out. I would put asterisks on the Conference League, because if Chelsea do succeed in beating Liverpool this weekend, Chelsea have secured that spot for Conference League. But what I saw, so I'm gonna do as usual. I'm gonna go lukewarm to hot. Start with City. I said City gonna have a litmus test when they play Chelsea. The reason I said that is because in the comment section below, write down if you want me to do like a tier list for the top 6 teams managers, or maybe the top half managers, right? Because there's a lot of teams that I'm really interested in, and I really like what they do. But I can do like a tier list if you want me. In the comment section, write down if you'd like me to do that. But Pochettino is what he's like as a manager. He's one of those. He's always in the beauty pageant. He goes into the beauty pageant. You notice him. He's got the good figure. He's got a nice smile. He went to the nice hair salon that he's been going to since he was 7 years old, and they just know how to get the best out of his cheekbones and his jawline. You feel me? And he does the. He does enough to get on stage, but sometimes that is seen as a bad thing. But he did enough on the day tactically to win the match, except from what was needed at the very end, and that was maybe a little bit of composure, maybe a little bit of trust. But these are young players, you get me? West London Blue Cowboys, like, they don't have like an experienced person, they don't have an experienced player of the bunch, and they substitute Cole Palmer. So then you're in a situation where one of your best attacking outlets is gone. He can't synergize with Nkunku, who I don't think is a lone striker. I think he's what we back in the day would call attacking mid. In this day and age, attacking mids are dead. They either play in the 8, they either play a shadow striker or a second striker behind someone, or they play on the wings. And I believe Nkunku has to find his space either off of a striker, on the wings, right? Or maybe playing in the 8. We don't know. But Cole Palmer is really the facilitator, right? And he was removed. And I believe Pochettino did everything right, from going to his hair salon, making sure that his features popped out, making sure that he got the right swimsuit, but he lacked the finishing touch, right? When he went on stage, he lacked the finishing touch, and that's why Chelsea weren't able to get the win across the line. And I believe they played a good enough game away from home to be like, yeah, like, they deserve to win. They didn't win, they got a point, well done, hats off. But what we saw from Man City is kind of shaky. I think I previously said that Man City's defense is the best defense based off of their philosophy of football, keeping the ball and preventing themselves from being attacked, right? And I disagree now. I honestly disagree now. I think that Arsenal have the best defense. If I was to do a combined City 11, I am taking Declan Rice, I'm taking William Saliba, I'm taking Gabriel. And that triangle is the difference between our team and their team, defensive-wise. Now, when we get down to nitty gritty, I believe Pep Guardiola got everything wrong. Not everything wrong. He got his midfield wrong. Him shoehorning Alvarez into the midfield constantly hinders, I believe, their creativity when it comes to getting the ball to Haaland. I believe it hinders their defense, and them able to control the ball in midfield because he's not an 8. He's putting him into that Gundogan role, and I don't think he needs to. I think all the time he spent trying to teach Alvarez that position, if he had put that into Núñez, right? Maybe Núñez would adapt to the system faster. Like sometimes Pep Guardiola and his players, they take a while to get into the team and the system. I understand that, but like, I don't know what he's doing with that. But I digress. I said it will be a litmus test for City, and I just need to see what happens with that Liverpool game. I know it's a cup game. I know Liverpool have got injuries, but I need to see that. Now, moving on, I'm going to talk about the hot now. Everyone knows what the hot is. We all know what it is. You know. And if you don't know, I'll tell you right now. Right now, Arsenal are cooking. And this is what I want all of us to do. All of the Arsenal fans that are listening to this is what I want you to do. I want you to take the game as it is, step by step. Game by game. You get me? Because, in my opinion, why we lost the league is because the players and our fan base were looking up at the sun versus focusing on what's next. You scored 2 goals, you're winning against West Ham. Okay, our next game we gotta do this and that to win the game while you're still playing that game. No, step by step. You get me? Like I said before, we've come back from Dubai, whether people want to believe it or not. Now we're playing more direct. We're breaking the lines faster and getting to goal faster. We can control the ball in areas. We can play that defensive possession game. But now we're also being able to get the ball to Odegaard faster. And Odegaard has been able to dictate and orchestrate our game, our midfield. The way Odegaard is playing right now, people always reference KDB because KDB is what's new and what's hot. But the way he's playing right now is like Wesley Sneijder or even Andres Iniesta. You're not getting that much numbers because we don't have a solid striker. He's gotten a lot of numbers in the last 5 games, but what he's doing is orchestrating and everything is going through him. And people say that Arteta's taking his philosophy from Pep Guardiola. I disagree, like strongly disagree, because Arteta allows these players to have freedom and allows these players to do what they would like to do on the ball. Pep doesn't allow that. There's numerous players that play with what you'd call Jogo Bonito, or even have somewhat of an ego and like to express themselves on the field, complaining about the fact that they tried something and Pep didn't allow them to do it. Samuel Eto'o makes a lot of, in these interviews, talks a lot about how Pep treated him, and it's based off the way he felt he should be playing. Zlatan does the same, and Thierry Henry had a famous like quote where he was just like, bro, like we're losing in the Champions League game. Pep Guardiola told me to do this. I felt that if I did this and express myself a little bit more, I can get something. He scored. Pep took him off at half time. Arteta doesn't do that. He lets the players play with freedom. It's still tiki-taka, which does not come from Pep Guardiola. It comes from Johan Cruyff. Comes from Ajax Academy. You get me? So a lot of managers are taking that Johan Cruyff style and adapting it to how they want to do it. And I believe that his time at Arsenal with Arsene Wenger allowed him to develop his philosophy. Then his time spent with Moyes as well as a player allowed him to do defensive structure. And his time with Pep Guardiola all have combined to make his philosophy. But I digress. Get to the nitty gritty. I need to see how Liverpool perform against Chelsea for me to like give you guys a solid, like, maybe prediction of what I think is gonna happen towards the end of the year. But the only thing I'm saying is that I said it before, now we have the players that are playing the game for the title. We have the 3 players. Okay? Out of the 3 players, Arsenal apparently has the toughest run. I don't think we have the toughest run. I think everyone has a tough run because matchups, like, one team may look to be tough for one opposition, but they could be complete opposite. For example, Burnley, they play the way we want to play, so we can spank them. You get me? But Brighton as well. People saying that's going to be a tough matchup for us, but like, you heard it here first and foremost from yeggooner. We're going to play Brighton and slap them. Like, I'm confident about that game. Newcastle, we're going to play Newcastle this week. This Saturday, we're going to play Newcastle and we're going to slap them. Like, you've heard it here, right? And this is not me disrespecting Newcastle. This is not me saying I don't think Newcastle's a tough game. But if we play Porto and play very, very well, please expect us to slap Newcastle because Porto are better than Newcastle. Please expect that. Now, I'm going to end off by saying that at the moment, in my eyes, Man City are still favourites because I believe Man City are going to beat Liverpool at Anfield. I've been saying this for the past 3 videos. Man City are going to beat Liverpool at Anfield. It's just their draw makes it a lot more interesting. We are all going to drop points, all 3 of us. City, Liverpool, Arsenal, we're all going to drop points. It's just where we drop points and who we drop points to that matters, and whether we got the bottle, Arsenal, to keep it going, whether Jurgen Klopp still has the energy to keep it going, whether Pep Guardiola doesn't mega mind it to keep it going. But yeggooner, thank you guys for coming through. Peace.